must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
Very good morning to you, and thank you so much for joining us today. This is Good Morning Africa, and we're coming to you all the way from Kenya's capital here in Nairobi. A very chilly and rainy morning, as I can hear from outside. But thank you so much. Good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you're watching us across the world. Of course, my name is Miriam Ogoto, in case you're joining us for the first time. And what we do here is we'll take you through the news-making headlines across Kenya by looking at the leading newspapers here, and that is the Star, the Daily Nation, as well as the Standard newspaper. And then after that, we shall turn our attention to the topic of the day, that is, does Kenya need a contestable or a consensus referendum? So I'd like to know your thoughts on that. Joining me to have this discussion and on the show this morning is none other than Kidi Mwaga. Kidi, a very good morning to you.
Good morning, Miriam. It is always a pleasure to join you on this show.
All right, nice having you. And also on the other side is Professor Jared Onyari. Professor, good morning.
Good morning, Miriam, Kidi, our viewers from wherever they are around the world this morning and evening, depending where you are.
Very well, because we know we have a lot of international viewers. So somebody in Singapore is watching us right now, and we don't. It's evening there, so thank you so much. That is Professor. And Professor, it's nice to have you. Of course, Doctor shall be joining us in a short while, and the rest of the panelists. So before I get into the headlines, of course, we have to look at the COVID-19 situation in the country. And right now, the confirmed cases in Kenya stands at 51,851 cases. The death toll is 934, and recoveries is 35,248. And Uganda also, the cases there are really catching up, standing at 11,767 cases. The death toll is 106 people. Recoveries is 7,461. And then we look at the total cases in Africa this morning, 1,624,095. And the people who have died from the COVID-19 in the continent stands at 44,101. And recoveries in Africa so far stands at 1,369,600. And the global figures, they are also gaining momentum with a new surge in Europe and other parts of the world, standing right now at 44,774,763 cases. The death toll worldwide is 1,179,225, and the recoveries is at 32,727,598. Of course, these figures are subject to change. Maybe the next 5 minutes or 2 minutes you can go looking and you can find something totally different, because different countries update their confirmed cases at different times, so these figures are subject to change, but that's where we are this morning. So of course, our topic of the day, as I mentioned there earlier, does Kenya need a contestable or a consensus referendum? That is our topic. But before we get into that, let us look at the news making headlines this morning. And we look at the Star newspaper, the front pages: 2 dead, 12 critical as corona hits IEBC. Uhuru calls extraordinary meeting to discuss surging COVID-19 cases. And the story is on page 6 of the Star newspaper. I think that is important. Let us just get some information about what is really happening here, because this has become a concern, knowing very well that our children are back to school. Mine is somewhere in class right now, so I have every reason to get worried when I see these figures. So it says, 2 independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission staffers have died, while 12 others are fighting for their lives after they were infected by COVID-19. Their colleagues are in panic and have accused the management of forcing them to go to work, yet the offices have not been fumigated. Of course, Chairman Wafula Chebukati denied reports that his wife, daughter, and himself also contracted the virus. And let's see. Now, in a statement, State House spokesperson Kanzedena on Wednesday said the session will be held on November 4th. That is, the news emerged on the day when President Kenyatta convened an extraordinary session of the national and county governments coordinating summit to discuss the rising COVID-19 cases. So we're seeing this is also a concern to President Uhuru Kenyatta, and next week he will be convening this session here. Mwaga, I don't know what you expect from this in line with COVID-19 from President Kenyatta next week. What do you expect that that meeting will come up with? Are we likely to go back to those stringent measures, or what do you think will come out of that meeting?
Well, Miriam, the truth is, in the year 2020, the biggest benefit we want to get out of it is to come out alive. I've seen Dr. Matsanga waving. I want to wave back at him. Yes, I want to say that considering that President Kenyatta has always demonstrated his love for his country by relying on our scientists and doctors to determine the course of direction he takes in response to COVID-19, contrary to what our neighbors have been doing, I think if, in the opinion of the experts around him, he feels that our collective health is at risk if more stringent measures are put in place, I don't think President will hesitate to make sure that he resorts to a course of action that is in the best interest of the country.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you so much. And Doctor, you've joined us. A very good morning to you.
Good morning, Miriam.
Mm-hmm.
How are you?
I'm very fine, thank you. How are you today?
I think I'm fatigued, but Professor will pray for me that I can be able
I'll also
speak.
pray for you.
Well,
yes, me and Professor, we shall be praying.
You are a Christian who has kept quiet and kept it to yourself.
No.
Yeah, you have never shown that's why I'm even having all these problems.
And my good Bishop Oginde, you know, he's my bishop.
Oh.
We are doing very well. But Doctor, the cases have gone up. President Kenyatta is convening a very important meeting next week. Are we likely to go back into a lockdown, or what measures do you think will be introduced this time?
To lock down where? Miriam, you see, on this show we have said and said, we are fed up. Are you not fed up yourself? Is Professor not fed up? Kiddy is starting to do it, and he will be fed up at a certain time. The biggest problem with Kenyans and Africans, not only Kenyans, they have forgotten that poverty. Have you ever seen a thief refusing poverty? Have you? Is there anywhere where a thief says this is rich or poor? Most, maybe in Kisii, does the thief choose? Yeah? Thief has never chosen. So Corona is like a thief. It takes everybody. And one of these days it is going to hammer one person amongst these guys. Then everybody will wake up. I'm sorry, God forbid. Nkurunziza kept on telling people that things were okay. And you saw what happened. As we speak now, don't speak with shyness. All the ICUs in Nairobi are full. Did you know that?
Yes.
Even if you go with 500,000, there's no bed. So what does that tell you?
If I want to die.
Is it, do you want to have beer? Do you want to have meat? Do you want to dance? Do you want to kiss? The whole night kissing, because you are running away from your wife, you are kissing a calico. Then from the calico, you carry the disease to your parents, to your family. Your wife is surely a very humble woman seated. She has showered and gone to her bed, waiting for mama husband to come. Only to the husband to come with a zombie, coming back after eating meat and shaking hands with everybody. And even telling at night, you know, some people have very bad manners. They wake up their wives at 4 a.m. to tell the story of the nightclub. Women in Kenya suffer a lot. I'm sorry. Women in Africa suffer a lot. Women in London, you don't tell her those stories and you be in the same house. She will show you the door. And even if it is your house you bought with millions, the police will tell you never to step near the door. So Miriam, my sister, this thing is real. It is here. ICUs are full up. They are full. The hospitals are full. So let's go back. Let the president, let this meeting take place. And close some of these things. Hotels that can give cleanliness can be left. Hotels that are not able to keep cleanliness, close them. This nyama of eating meat up to 11, and the people then after that, you know that some people have now even gone to buy soundproof acoustics for soundproof. Wakili, wamenunua hizi the walls. Miriam, even if you are in the compound, police, you have come to arrest them. You don't hear anything. And inside the place is full. The president needs to know these things. He needs to be told. You know? This week we saw a president who said, who got a shocker. I think he should take a shock, those type of things that other people talk like us, who walk around, and add it with what the intelligence give him, and tell them it is true. He didn't believe it that his deputy talks these things outside in the public. Because when you love somebody so much, you feel have you seen when you have a child that you like, and the people keep on coming to say, oh, this is, Onyari is very bad, Onyari is very bad. But you inside there, you know, this is my hair parent, you know? Even when they say he has stolen, until you see a gunshot has been hit in his chest. That is how the president got a shock on Monday. A very big shock. And he did not deliver the speech. That is true. He cut it back at the speech because he could not believe his son or his deputy. And that is, Your Excellency, that is the same behavior people here are behaving about Corona. I want to be very candid. When HIV hit Uganda, when Ugandan women arrived here, they were called, when the name is mentioned from Uganda, people run away from the country. You get the point? They run. Heron Court. Miriam, you are not there. Heron Court used to be very recruitive business around there. Ile wamama wazuri sana wako Heron Court. They ask me, I've gone through all this type of life. Wamama wazuri Heron Court yapo wamevaa mavazi. But when you go to the woman lastly, she tells you, David, I am HIV positive. Wow. Sindio naruka. Unawacha, you can even, on the way home, Valley Road, you can enter the church, city camp. Is it city camp? You enter there, you enter the car because you have the blood is frozen. And then people said, oh, these Ugandan women are very, very, very vulgar. No, the Ugandan women were being sincere. They were saying, you want to sleep with me? Thank you, but you have to have a condom. Which was like an abomination in Kenya. Onyari, you're church minister, you talk these things in the church, so don't get shocked that you don't talk about them.
We should.
Bad morals, you talk about them. Condoms, where either you have decided not to have sex, or you have decided to have sex and have condoms. And that is the sex, the type of life we are heading now. Either we speak very frankly about corona and put a law that this is what we want, or this second wave is very deadly, is sweeping so many people. The hospitals are full. We relaxed, we let the gun down. You know, the guard, we let the guard down. The hospitals are full. Even if you go with 1 million shillings, you cannot get a bed in the Nairobi hospital. 1 million. Just try and make a telephone call. Just try. Our investigative journalist is not here. I have already tried through somebody. They are saying everybody, a doctor in Aga Khan, who is a neighbor of mine, told me everything, David, is full. Aga Khan wants to put even beds of intensive care unit with under a shelter in the car park. So we are coming, and to be very honest, from Sunday, Miriam, it has been extremely very cold. Very, very cold. I've never seen this type of cold. Cold, very, very cold. And the chilly, even now, everything is very cold. So this thing flourishes around the cold weather. And then people are relaxed. People don't wash hands. People don't wear masks. There are so many things that are not being done, Miriam.
Especially the masks there.
I'm sorry, we might have a problem, my sister. Thank you. That's my contribution.
Thank you so much, Doctor. And Professor, you remember some months ago when we were looking at the story when our county heads, their governors were told to prepare for a possible surge in coronavirus, and some of them prepared by going to buy land for burials and all that. And we really criticized this move because that is not what President Uhuru Kenyatta said. He said, get enough beds, prepare for enough ICU, beds and all that. Instead, others went and bought land for burial. So this land, do you think it will, as we are going, I hope we don't get to use it in the counties.
When you try to critique something, the opposite might be true. Miriam, let me just have this to say. And Dr. Masangas put it very clear that the second wave is so deadly. And the problem in this country that people don't listen. And even those who don't know, they want to masquerade that they know. Even when they are being advised, they don't listen, they don't read. Miriam, we were very categorical from this point. That's where we stand, Miriam, that even these entertainment joints, let them not be opened. But people insisted. Miriam, I've not lived in this world for long enough, but I've been there for some time. I have never seen anything which can stop alcohol apart from Apotro. You put alcohol inside Apotro, it remains the same. But once you put it inside the human body, you take one, you take two. In a moment, the speech started disappearing, you start staggering. And the rest, what Dr. Masanga said is true. Here we are. We have failed to follow the simple protocols, Miriam, of just washing hands, wearing masks, and keeping social distance. And I believe that our leaders, the political class, are not honest. Here, this man from, where does this man come from? Which county? This man's Barasa. Kimiriri? Yeah. You know, the other day he was saying that the calling Corona ni Homa 2, ni Homa 2, and imagine you are speaking to the public, and now sometimes there are people believe in leaders. So Miriam, is very unfortunate that this thing has come, and the truth, people are not being told the truth. You are on your own because there are no beds. If you find for complication, you are a candidate for that. And Dr. Masanga, you said that one of these days, why should you be apologetic that it's not harm anybody? You want to say that these people are dying are lesser human beings? It can harm the rich, the poor, the mighty, the educated, and educated. That is the reality. So if it is going to hammer one, and the people come there to their senses, so be it. They can't treat these things very casual, Miriam. You know, Comrade Mwaka was said that the president is very honest. And you see, he's so much distressed. So Miriam, let us come forward. And Miriam, what I need to do here is we can have laws. The rules are there, the protocols are there. But Miriam, let us have an honest engagement. Corona is a reality. Corona kills. And let people hear what others are trying to say. We say don't open schools. We said don't open schools. You see, one of the principals has gone. Some of the pupils are affected. Everybody now is on denial. Miriam, let us have a honest engagement, an honest conversation. Corona kills. Corona is a reality. And let us support the president. And even if it means now coming with stiff measures. I said 20 minus 20 is 0. The year 2020 is gone. There's nothing you will recover in terms of economy, in terms of social, in terms of political. It is gone. But better days are always ahead if we go past this pandemic. So I support Dr. Masanga that more stiff measures should be locked. Even if it is locking this city or wherever, for 1 month you don't move. Anger will not kill you. Jesus was fasted for 40 days and nights and he never died. If that's the extent we have to go, Miriam, and contain this pandemic, be it.
All right, very well. Jovan Karanja, good morning and thank you for joining us this day.
Good morning, Miriam.
All right, so next week, President Kenyatta is meant to be meeting with the county officials and the committee, I think, on Corona there. And President Uhuru Kenyatta is worried about the state of COVID-19 and how the numbers have been going up. So it is said that he will convene an extraordinary session of the national and county governments coordinating summit to discuss the rising COVID-19 cases. What do you think will come out of that meeting? More measures? What will happen?
Yeah, definitely more measures will be put in place because, as you see, Miriam, these numbers are on rise. And you see for this week from Saturday, there Friday, these numbers have been rising. They have been scarping up, and things are not normal. And when you go even these areas that we didn't expect this number to be on rise, these numbers are rising. You go not only in Nairobi, but even where I am in Nanyuki, and a number of people have been confirmed to be positive of this coronavirus, that the most strict measures need to be put in place because Kenyans have neglected the government health protocols that ensured that we are well in matters of combating this disease. And as you asked me whether the president should add more measures, yes, he should, and make sure that this disease is contained, and we need to be even, those measures should be even tightened. You see, so that this disease will not come and ravage many lives as it is happening now. And we were here in this platform talking of schools should not be reopened. And you see now, yesterday, almost 30 schools have been confirmed to have corona positive cases. This is something that is not good because when these kids get the disease in schools, You see now it is getting to school, it is getting to homes. Very soon you get them even in the church. Those pastors, you saw even there was one pastor from Kisumu who was succumbed to coronavirus because of this level of negligence. Therefore, we must, as a people, and mostly Kenyans, as the CS of health keeps telling us, personal responsibility. That is something that we must keep in place to ensure that as personally, at personal level, we keep this disease at par. We wash our hands, we sanitize, and we avoid political gathering. And I think one thing that the president must do this time round is to ensure that political gatherings are curtailed so that these things, these numbers are skyrocketing because this political gathering, you see every time, these people, these politicians, they pretend to be going to church, but after church, they come around the towns doing all these manner of things. And in Sunday, we are expecting the deputy president is coming to Nyeri. Now you see, these people, they come to church. Then after church, they come in the streets. People gather there with no mask, with no whatever. Now this is where these numbers are coming from. And you'll see, if these measures will not be tightened, these numbers will keep on increasing, Miriam. Therefore, it's so unfortunate. And the president, because he is the head of state, and we have no other head of state apart from President Uhuru Kenyatta, this is the time to act and to ensure that this disease is contained. Thank you, Miriam.
All right, thank you so much. And still on the front pages there of the Star newspaper, Muteshi, the man who took Ruto head-on over grabbed land. So the story, just shortly, on page, Professor, stop, on page 2 of the Star newspaper. Adrian Muteshi knew a lot of sorrow from post-election violence right from the return of multi-party politics in 1992. So they explain the story. And then down there it says, however, he was not lucky 15 years later in 2007 after the disputed election that heralded bloody violence. Another band of encroachers forced their way into his farm, threatening death. Muteshi was displayed as an IDP. This time, they drove away his dairy cattle, sheep and goats and took away his tractors and farm tools. All his workers were chased. His efforts to retain possession of his land was thwarted as his family and workers were under constant threats of death. All the while, he sought help from the government, but all was in vain. After 2 years of futile attempts, Muteshi learned in 2009 that his land had a new owner, and that would be Deputy President William Ruto. He rushed to court to regain possession. At the time, Ruto was the area Eldoret North Member of Parliament and Minister for Higher Education. So Muteshi is finally resting there. Doctor.
Yes. You know what? God is a very good planner. God plans his steps very carefully. When you raise your temperature, God just brings something to show you as a sample. Does it occur to you that two landmark personnels, Muteshi and Gitonga, Zamba, those are two serious landmark, or what you can call hallmarks of post-election violence and post-constitutional arrangement. They all perished on the same day or after one day. God is showing us something which we must be careful about. And if I were Ruto, I should retreat and find out what are these signs for. This man Muteshi died still working for his money. He was only paid 5 million. Compensation was not enough. He could not go back to his house because the same neighbors who raped his wife, this, that, are there. There is no reconciliation, Jamen. There is no restitution. There is no reparation here. There is no remorsefulness. The same guys are very chest bumpers. Just, I'm here. I speak on behalf of the hustlers. Yeah? Have you heard somebody saying that? I speak on behalf of the hustlers in front of the president. And the President Uhuru Kenyatta, I think there are so many things that annoyed him that day. Because every intelligence system has been telling President Uhuru Kenyatta, this man is dividing the country. Very soon, people from Mathare will climb into Muthaiga and eat everybody. He could, maybe he said, okay, this, but now he had it himself that the president could not even, do the official, all the things that were supposed to be done. He closed it. And give President Uhuru Kenyatta a credit, Jamen. I want us to pay credit to him today. He's a very diplomatic man. Me, Matanga, at that time, when Ruto stood up to speak, that he speaks on behalf of hustlers, I would have shouted him down, and I think we would have had an open war there, and the people in the audience would have said, seen the real fire of me. I'm telling you. Or give a man like Museveni. Museveni would have not spared you. He can embarrass you, even he can tell people to pick you and take you out. Museveni came to London and he pointed me out in the audience. Bazungu said, the point of order, you cannot, he said, what point of order? You are rubbish. This guy here, this is the one in Uganda, we finish them, we kill them, we liquidate them. You don't understand. This Bazungu say, hey. These words here, these words are not used. The president is a very resilient man. All these dangers that you see here, they are being planned and they are going to bring chaos. You like it, you don't like it. Miriam, I've told you, I've written a piece today, the train of Uhuru or you perish. Don't take it lightly. Either you join this train of unity or you perish. Something has to stop. I don't want to speak like Murathe, but Murathe was very candid. The only man who can match Ruto's strength is Raila Amolo Odinga. Put them together and we keep quiet. Raila will win this vote. Today I've told you that. If you bring this Freemasons, this other thing, there's nobody. This guy will he's very manipulative. In Chatham House in London, he said the expanded executive is very good. Expanded, it is accountability. Machiavelli, Nikolai Machiavelli. You have a Machiavelli in this government. You have this guy. Ruto is not William Chichiru Ruto, is Nikolai Machiavelli. As he keeps Uhuru guessing, he's creating a movement of wheelbarrow and a movement of hustlers. When Uhuru realizes, comes out and says, he will unleash these boys on Uhuru, and it will be over. Uhuru will have only 1 year left. He has nothing. He can't say no. He can't break the constitution. So, if His Excellency President Uhuru is listening, he better take stock. His Jupiter is not with him. Today I'm speaking slowly so that people understand. This man is called Nikolai Machiavelli. If you want, read the book, The Prince, from page 1 up to 200 and something pages. You will hear what Nikolai Machiavelli did to the emperor of Sicily. This guy is not even Brutus. This guy is worse than Caliphus. The guy is out to dismember Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta's legacy. There is no legacy here if you have Ruto and his henchmen like the governor, the Senate of Nandi. You saw how he was a motor machine this morning on Citizen. What he was talking. These guys, you see, Miriam, you cannot live in two worlds. You cannot be a goat and a hyena at the same time. You are eaten and you also eat people. You know, a hyena cannot. Have you ever heard of a human being eating a hyena? Where did you hear? When nobody can, even if they kill it, they walk over it. You can't eat in both places. Either he is out, you know, he has to be out of this and say no. And earlier the Jubilee Party takes a stand to tell him either he says yes, so that we don't go for contestable referendum, or no, we go for contestable referendum. That's what Wanyali was saying yesterday. I submit.
All right, very well. And of course, DP Ruto, in his defense, Ruto argued that he was an innocent buyer of that land and he followed a legitimate process, having been made aware of the availability of the suit property for sale. However, Judge Rosalia Ogo ruled in Muteshi's favor, annulling all the transactions of the land and ordered the OCS of Tarbo Police Station to evict Ruto from the land. Kidi, you're a lawyer. This must have been one of those landmark rulings that we don't see quite often, especially against political people from high political positions in this country.
Well, one thing that is remarkable, Miriam, is that Deputy President has always attempted to hide behind the legal doctrine of innocent purchaser for value. When we talk about the Western Hotel land, the Deputy President has never made attempts to vacate that land voluntarily. And as a result, he has been a beneficiary of a fraudulent process. When the late Muteshi took him to court, he again alleged that he is an innocent purchaser for value. But over and above that, he has not demonstrated willingness to acting on own motion, what in law we call acting suo moto, to make sure that he restores the land back to the owner and uses powerful office of the Deputy President to ensure that the late Muteshi enjoyed quiet possession of the land. So that is, all this put together demonstrates to us the type and the character of the individual we are dealing with here and now.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you so much. Professor, what is really startling about this case here is that...
I forgot. I just want. Thank you very much, Wakili. I switched off because of age. I was supposed to answer that question. My age again took me to something else because I'm very, very, very upset with this guy. You know, if a man with morals, if he knows this land is in question mark, and everybody is talking about it. You did not have it yesterday, but it came as a result of the violence. Can't you just wake up and call this man quietly? Why do you wait for Muteshi to go to court? To stress Muteshi, the late Muteshi was stressed, depressed. He died a depressed person. He would have been, because you know what? How many people who are in Nairobi, and I told you, Onyari is an example here. Onyari has land in the Rift Valley. They had land, but they have abandoned it. Am I wrong, Onyari?
You are very right.
They abandoned it completely. Because there's something wrong here. There is a politics of hostage, violence of the wretched of earth. Hiyo kitabu, musome hiyo kitabu mutajua huyu mtu jameni. My friend in the lawyer yesterday was telling me, Daktari, you have facts. Inasoma sana usiku. The wretched of earth. Huyo mjamaa is using Museveni's doctrine. But Kenyans are not seeing this. Time is coming when they are going to see that what Matanga was speaking was correct. You first of all antagonize the bigger family, the bigger tribe, the Kikuyu. That's what Museveni did. He got the kingdom of Buganda, the Kabaka, versus Obote, and versus everybody. And I told the people that I am going to bring back your kingdom. What is Ruto doing? He's all the time, Harambes are in Mount Kenya, denouncing Uhuru Kenyatta. Look at the MPs who stand up to speak, one by one. They are sending salvos on Uhuru Kenyatta. He wants to make the people of Mount Kenya to turn on Uhuru Kenyatta to say he ate their things. He's the one. You would be having milk, but the milk is in Kiambu. You will be having honey, but the honey is in Kiambu. You will be while his region. Can you tell me why Museveni did not go to Mbarara where he is born? President Museveni did not go to his home region to create a war. That's exactly the doctrine Ruto is using. Are you people not researching? Are you not researchers, Professor and where Naniwa Kidi and Miriam? Research on that. Karanja. That is the fear of Fanoni funds. The wretched of earth, violence, and the violence alone. Once violence is used against the masses, they turn against the ruling class. Umeona hiyo? And then when you go to Tanzania, Dar es Salaam, me I researched Museveni's journey. The only thing Museveni wrote, the thesis, which is there, I can give you, I'll send it to you, soft copy, is on violence. And I got a degree from Dar es Salaam University by writing on violence.
And Doctor, what is really startling about this story is, according to court records, the court records show that Muteshi's land was stolen way before the December 2007 post-poll violence. One, Dorothy Jemutai Yator, whom Muteshi listed as the fourth defendant of the case, had the land transferred to her on August 20th, 2007, before dividing it in November of the same year and selling it to Ruto. Professor, we have a lot of things here that need solved in this country.
No, but you are saying according the land was bought.
Even before, even Muteshi was living in his land, he didn't even know it had already been sold. He didn't even.
Fraudulently.
Yes, fraudulently, yes.
You know that is why Muteshi could not, even when the court decided Muteshi goes back to his land, he did not go back.
Because Jemutai had sold it without him knowing.
Yeah, you tell me, no, you tell me where is he? Meshaka Yebei. Where is he? Why Kayabei. Nyenye Jamen, you Kenyans, please, 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 may Muteshi's soul rest in peace. And may Meshach Kayabei's soul rest in peace.
Yeah, Miriam.
Have you seen that? No, Professor, don't do say about it.
Yes, I'd like to say it so that we are able to move
I want to give my thoughts.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes.
Miriam, the likes of the late Mutesh are the people I admire in life. Those are my heroes because they stand for what's right and what is theirs. They don't give it in. I hope we shall be able to meet in the resurrection morning. Miriam, this is the person whom we are talking about is a person who calls himself a hustler. Who is an hustler? He's a fraudster. He's a conman. He's a trickster. If we take Mutesi's rand and pull those features, and the deputy president normally says that he's an hustler and he represents the hustlers, you can see its manifestation. And sometimes I ask the people who talk about human rights, the people who understand the law about Kidi, like brother Kidi, why can't we assist Mutesa and his kin get what's rightfully theirs? Why don't the government come forward and support the weak in the society? Because the government, any human being, Miriam, you or any government is seen on how it treats the vulnerable people in the society. This man has gone to court. The court have pronounced. We have chapter 6 of the Kenyan Constitution. Where are the human rights in this country? Where is the church in this country? Where is it? We can't have. I was engaging someone this morning, Miriam, and you don't know how bitter it is. There will never, never, ever be peace without justice. Sometimes you threaten people, oh, this one will happen, let us do this. There must be justice. There must be a conversation. We must talk these things. Now we are forgiving and we want to move forward.
But before we
what
forgive,
happened in this country?
Before we forgive, Professor, we must.
This will happen. Let us embrace peace. No, there must be justice.
These things have to be
Justice
talked
must
about.
be done. Justice must be done to the late Mutesh. Justice must be done to the people of Kenya. The land at Western Way Hotel must be reverted back to the government. This is the kind of justice we are talking about, Miriam. And this is the person, in fact, who is again coming again to cause the class war, say that you have been disadvantaged because of this. Miriam, time has come for people who mean well for this country, for them to take a position and we take this country forward. Otherwise, so many people are going to be killed and nothing happens. So they must, and that's why sometimes, Miriam, we look at people, this is our country. I don't understand. This is our country. We have the constitution. We passed 2010. We are auditing now. Why don't you bring the better ideas that you have? Ours is good. Bring the better ideas and we build a better country for posterity. But most people don't want. They have been beneficiaries of corruption. They have been beneficiaries of divisive of politics. They don't want that to have shared prosperity. So, Miriam, time has come as even we move to discuss the topic. Some of these people, there is a difference between like night and day.
And Prof, we are getting into the topic, but I'd like to hear Jevan's thoughts on the same story so that we jump quickly on this story, on our topic of the day. So, Jevan, here the court records show that Muteshi's land was stolen way before the December 2000 post-election. So, if Afatu Bensouda was to look at this in a way that they were looking at the cases that the ICC she'll perhaps think something like this. So, you are selling this land because this person was considered not. Muteshi is from Kakamega. That is where his initially he came from. So you are selling his land before this post-election violence. So does that mean something was perhaps on the offing, knowing very well perhaps there were plans to even send these foreigners away so that, because, I mean, how do you think Fatu Bensouda in his office there would look at this case in the presence of ICC? How do you sell someone's land undivided and they're still there because of why? And they're Kenyans.
Okay, thank you, Miriam. And something that you must understand, all this violence that we have in this country, they don't happen by coincidence. It's something that is well planned. And when in that issue of Muteshi, when you see that lady coming and dividing the land, he was protected by somebody. You can't go there just like that. You must have somebody who is giving you protection so that you do it and you sell to that person. And you see these things, these are people who are working in cahoots with these political players so that at the end of the day, they will change the blame. And you see that is why the accused and the deputy president is telling that he bought the land innocently. The same happened with Western Hotel. How comes that he is only innocent when buying lands that are questionable? You see, these are the things that we must start asking ourselves as a Kenyans, and we must understand these things were pre-planned before even these things happen. And when you go to that area, because I happened even to have gone to those areas of Eldoret where people suffered, and the kind of people, and when you come to this county of Laikipia, there's a land that the former president gave land to some of the displaced IDPs around these areas. And the kind of pain that those people have even today, it is so huge. These people are suffering. The kind of emotional distress that they are going through, it cannot be solved by a handshake just like that. This is something that they need. Those perpetrators, justice to be taken so that at least they will heal their souls. And I think we have a problem as a country. And I think even the chapter 6 of the Constitution that talks of matter of integrity for public leadership, these people who have been accused severally in every kind of corruption, they should not be given space into public servants. They should, see these people, they belong to jail. I think we have a failed nation where we hide things and we keep glorifying thieves and the people who are corrupt. That is why they find a place to come to public service. They are there. You see, these people are the ones who are setting the rules for us. Then how will justice be done if these people are the ones who are controlling the Judicial Service Commission? They are the people who are controlling our courts. They are people who are in powerful political offices. These things we must come and say that us as Kenyans, we must have these things implemented. I think there's nothing bad with deterring these people from running for political offices, because that is the only way justice will be done. Because those people, I'm telling you, those IDPs, if they hear those people who displaced them are not running for these political offices, I think that will be something they will celebrate, because at least they feel this person will not make other people suffer in future, because when these people are not in political offices, these people will not suffer. Yeah, that is the way.
All right. Thank you so much. And that was not our topic of the day. We were just looking at that story. But I think these are, as Professor there has said, very serious conversations.
One minute.
Yes.
She is very lucky to have remained alive. Yeah.
All right. And
well, that is my take. Thank you, Miriam.
All right. Thank you so much. Yeah.
That is my statement.
All right. And
he's lucky to have remained alive until God takes him naturally. And I think all of you can interpret what I'm saying.
He passed on at the age of 86. So
86. Yes. He's very lucky. If you look at what happens in Tarubo, if you find the man who wanted to stand for the MP who won the vote Do you know a man called Equaro? Do you know the man who won the vote on Jubilee party ticket? What was done to him? And these are the things that we must start talking openly. If you hide them, as the professor is saying, if we hide these things, then we have not restituted. Then we have not made reparations. You can't hide. You go and remove a quarrel and place your tribe's woman to the post. Because a quarrel is a lawyer. That is not very good. That's not very good politics. As you know, Tarbo is near Kakamega. So this is how, I don't know whether you know, the Webuye, Kakamega, around there, Kapsaret, all those areas. I know that area very well. I knew it a long time in 78, 79 when we were hammering Idi Amin, then again later in 1985. Those are areas, Rugari, those areas are just neighbors, but it is very fluid there. You don't talk. The people there, the minority, they are not talk, they have no say. So when Miriam asks a question about this farm, it started a long time ago. That man had no say. The guy started stealing the farm much earlier, much organized. You know, Miriam, have you ever seen a neighbor? You buy a shirt which is blue, he also buys a blue shirt.
Nataka kama hii.
Hey.
Yes, sour.
The deputy president in Safari Park at breakfast in front of American bishops summarized his life. Compensational politics. I was a son of a poor man. My father was very poor. And I ended up being the vice president eating with sons of rich people. That was his summary. And I was, look here, and I had no shoes. My first butter shoes, Onyango, a shop of Onyango. Do you know what that one is called in political science? Compensational politics. Okwegomba. I don't know what you call it. It is like committing adultery using your eyes. Adultery is not committing physically, being found with another person's wife. The eyes alone. You are walking in the street and they say, oh, this woman is beautiful. And the saliva starts going down your throat. You have committed adultery. It's a sin. So the DP has got that thing, that trait in him. Competing, the younger, have you seen the type of shirts he wears and the suits? These are for wajambazi ya town hapa. These guys here. He's wearing them, competing with them down, you know, bringing himself down so that they give him votes. Tunafanana, sisi zote tunavaa nguo za Turkey. This stupid linen from Turkey, which I cannot put on my body because my body can't even start peeling off.
But yeah. So, but what?
No, yeah, honestly.
Yeah. But some.
So yeah. The point you emphasize before we go to the next topic is BBI has come. Let people be remorseful. That's what I'm trying to say. That's why I'm bringing these examples. You cannot talk about accepting BBI, then you go and admire and tell people that Uhuru Kenyatta was in a privileged home. But I came to be a vice president, a deputy president, to a man I did not even imagine I would sit near him. You see, that is not healing. It means you can even topple Uhuru Kenyatta. It means you have an ambition. If you got a chance, you'll finish him. You see what Brutus and Acacius did? Who was the best man at the wedding of Julius Caesar? Who was the best man? If you haven't read the book, let me tell you, it was Brutus. Yeah. Tuambiane ukweli. People who kill others are not from very far. And my president is at a risk. My good friend, my Pan-African. This man is very ambitious. Grab everything. In fact, you know, I think if he finds you with a good woman, you might be in trouble. I'm told. Very serious. So you younger men who go on running around, if you bump into, like, especially I'm worried about Wesonga.
But something Professor said there earlier that I think it's quite I think could be because Rwanda through a bad ethnicity and negative ethnicity, look at what happened to that country, but they were able to come out of it because they were able to have a very honest and raw conversation as a country, and so they were able to heal. So I think it's about time sweeping some of these things under the rug. Kenyans suffered from all over the country, not just in Eldoret but elsewhere, and there are people who are still have never moved on, have never healed, lost everything and all that. So these are conversations that perhaps we should find a way of start having, very difficult conversations, but it is very necessary for us to truly have a healing as a country, and for us to truly forgive and have that unity that we so much desire in this country. I think it's about time we started having dialogue with an aim of healing and moving forward as a country all over the country.
Everybody. I'm not, Kamundi, Mr. Munene Kamundi thinks I'm only talking about the Ruto. And we are talking about Ruto because he's aspiring to be a president in 2022.
People were killed in Kisumu who were non-locals there during that time. People died so in all over, all over the country.
Maraga. Didn't Maraga release 600 people? Those who cut people's legs. Maraga released them. He was paid money by the NGOs and they released them. I have been talking about those people. I am not talking about the DP alone, but because the DP has brought himself an example, we have to give evidence. In the safari park, there was evidence, Miriam. So Munene, when you want to argue with me, come on, the number, we have the ID Zoom. Open up Zoom and argue with me. Bring your things and defend your DP here. You will see how you will have no marks. Bring them. I am not talking about the DP as a person. I'm talking about the behavior of compensational politics. The anger of having anger and hungry. Being hungry and angry creates a conflict.
True.
True or not true? You are hungry for power and you are angry against everybody. I talk on behalf of hustlers. Hustlers. When you have been a petty bourgeois who has been a tick that has been hanging on people and eating people's blood, then you become all of a sudden a proletariat. You want us to keep quiet? You watch out. We shall not keep quiet. Munene Kamundi, pick the phone and come on. The platform is ready. Tutakuchoma hapa na wewe utuchome. Fungua, we want a debate. We want a very serious debate. You come on, punch in the number 333 399 535 8320. Punch it in, then you come. Identity card 503670. Kuja. Wacha tukusome. Come here and I teach you. I want to teach you about this fees.
All right. So on the front pages there of the Daily Nation. Do we move on?
Let's go.
All right. Ranked Kenyans pick top governors and the scorecard, the performance of county chiefs and their popularities with the electorate can now be revealed. A new poll found that experience in office didn't count for much, even though respondents rated the overall performance of all devolved units per counties. And of course, Wycliffe Oparanya, Kakamega governor, was rated as the first. But as I was watching that news, and then the governor for, is it Meru, came out, Kiraitu Murungi, said, those polls are fake. Infotract asked me for 3 million so that they could give me better ranking. This is serious because Kenyans would think this is a process that should not, that they can actually rate their leaders and know how their counties are doing. So when you hear certain allegations like that, this is a very serious matter for Kenyans. Kidi, before we move to our story of the day.
Ask the question again.
I'm saying that scorecard that ranked Kenya's best governors, that I think Oparanya, Wycliffe Oparanya, the governor for Kakamega, he's the one who is leading in terms of best performance. But also I saw Kiraitu Murungi yesterday, the governor for Meru, coming out and saying the ranking is fake because this company that was conducting these polls apparently asked him for about 3 million, if I'm not wrong, that is what he said, for him to be ranked better. And I'm thinking this is an exercise which I think Kenyans will be concerned, and when they look at they want to know how their leaders are performing. So if it's not done in a way that is right, then that is just not good for us as a country, if at all we were to go with what Kiraitu said yesterday.
Well, one thing about politicians is that they thrive in what is called subterfuge, what we call deception in simpler words.
Please use simpler words for me, Kid.
Yes. And truth is, the evolution is a success story. And there are those governors that have done a good job. For instance, you know that Governor Nyong'o has been in office for about 3 years now. And while in office, he has been able to, at the very least, change the face of the city. And as his government is trying to reach out to the periphery of the county to make sure that everyone feels the impact of devolution. Governor Oparanya has equally done a fairly commendable job. And at the face of it, I would want to treat the lamentations of Honorable Kiraitu Murungi as lamentations of a man who has been felled down in a wrestling duel, and therefore must find the justification that his chi, the personal God, was not at home.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you so much, Kidi. There. So now let's just look at
before you cross over. You are saying Kakamega is what? 88.2.
Yes, it's the one that is leading there in terms of performance.
Good morning, Africa. This is somebody from Kakamega now. I will not say his name. He's one of the executive officers of Kakamega County. This is to bring to your attention that Kakamega town, especially Rurambi, Amalemba, Konyero, areas around County Teaching and Referral Hospital and its environs is officially an epic center of COVID-19 infections. Going by the last 10 days, the county has recorded 280 positive cases with a bigger percentage of medics contracting the virus. So this person is saying, if this man is the best performing, this is an executive member of the county, minister. I won't say the name. So in Matanga, we hold my name. And he said, if they say it is performing, he has not performed on health matters. The whole of the health department is in a ramshackle situation. Hospitals are not equipped. Hygiene is not there. So I don't know. But ask me about opinion poll, my position is not like that of kids. My position is I have never trusted Infotrak. Ambifo. Is she Ambifo? Somebody? What is her name?
Angela Ambifo.
Never. And I think Raitu is correct.
All right, very well, Doctor. Thank you.
Let me tell you, that is it. Raitu is correct.
Okay.
You only need to pay to rise up. Didn't we have another one coming with a song called the highest? Gerard, didn't you see Sonko scored the highest marker here? Kiddy, let's talk facts about this.
Sonko rescue team must have been very active then. But, Doctor, let's turn our attention to the topic of the day. For the interest of time, does Kenya need a contestable or a consensus referendum? And of course, President Uhuru Kenyatta has urged Kenyans to present their final submissions once they have read the report, with Mudavadi calling for a structured manner on the same. Of course, the ANC leader says incorporating the final views will help in rallying Kenyans and lead us together, saying it will also set the stage for a successful referendum. From my understanding, a referendum is something people go to vote if they agree or they not agree. Kidi, you're a legal mind and you can help me in that. But does Kenya need a contestable or a consensus referendum? And what will this mean for the unity and the inclusivity of this country? And I start with Javen.
Thank you, Miriam, for that question. And before I answer that question, there was that thing you have talked about, the polls, the Infotrak polls.
You will not let that go. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Whether it is there or it's not. And my take is this, and these people who do these kind of random surveys, they don't tell us the parameters, except those things that they talk about, roads or hospitals. Nobody in these areas participates in those kind of questionnaires. And maybe
Jevan, a very interesting fact on those polls is they were conducted before even Waititu was removed out of office. So it is. I don't even know if it's relevant right now, but yeah, they released the report yesterday. But go ahead, complete your thought.
Miriam, why do they bring it now?
I don't know, Doctor. I don't even know. I mean, what's wrong with you, Ambido?
You know what, Kiddy, Professor, and Karanja and Miriam?
Yes.
If it was conducted when the time...
Before when Waititu was still in office.
It qualifies my point, and it qualifies Murungi. Murungi's point.
Okay.
And Angela Ambifo is money-minded. She has never been a person who does things without money. Why do you bring it now? I thought she could bring something about BBI. How many people want BBI? I would be very happy with that now.
She's still before Waititu left office. She's still there, so maybe she'll catch up with BBI.
Long time ago. And Waititu in one of the sick bays of intensive care units.
So they even rated Waititu there, which is interesting because okay, Javen, just interesting.
You know what?
That is what I'm telling you.
You have raised a very good point. Let's leave it. In fact, this is a wrong thing at the right time. The right time now is BBI. Let Angela Ambifo go out and do an opinion poll on BBI.
On whether Kenyans want a contestable, a consensus, or a consensus referendum.
Exactly.
All right, so Javen, continue. Yes.
Professor,
no, Javen and then Professor. Javen, go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. And I want to leave that thing of polls out there because it is bringing heat because at the end of the day, these are things that are conducted and there are a lot of malice that is involved there. And if they include Waititu, a person who left office a long time ago, you see this is long timing, and I think this is money factor playing hard in these polls. And let me go to the debate of the day. And you asked me whether we should have a contestable or uncontested BBI referendum. And one of my take, I take this. If we agree, is good. If we agree to have an uncontested referendum, is good. But you see, the lines have already been drawn. The hustlers team are the people in the front line with some civil societies and some members of the church who have come out and ganged up, and they are supporting the deputy president as their leader to oppose the BBI referendum and the question. And that is, I don't think we will ever agree, because these people have come out. You see the church. Yesterday we were talking about those members of the church who are making some funny recommendations of having their own Sharia court. And this is something that the lines are already drawn, and we see the deputy president and the civil societies and these guys called Kongamanos, whatever. These people have already ganged up to oppose the BBI, and I don't think we'll have a uncontested referendum. But if it was possible, I think it will save this country some money, because at the end of the day, the economy will grow. We'll have enough time for President Uhuru Kenyatta to continue on working on his legacy, and this country will save this country from the depolarization that comes with this kind of politics, knowing that we have only 22 months or 21 months to the general election. Therefore, it will save us, because if we go for that campaign from next year, then from that time to 2022, it will be a campaign mode and so on, because after that vote, some people will go to court and start saying, oh, our votes have been, we have won, the IBC have diverted our votes to square. Therefore, it will be a year, we lost another year of 2021 having all these campaigns. But that is my prayer. Let's agree if it's possible, and let's move on and make our economy grow, because we are still ravaging in the effects of COVID-19. Therefore, it could be easy if these people agree. But if they don't agree, I think now in this other side, it will be another good time, because these people who support the deputy president, they have been telling us they have the numbers and they have God, as if God is somebody who is a property of some few individual. And this will be an able time even to show them that whether to gauge them, whether they have real numbers or whether it's all those suicidal accounts in Facebook that they rely on. It will be a good number to know whether people in this country, they support handshake for real. Therefore, this will be a time to know whether the BBI and the handshake of peace process and the hearing process is supported by Kenyans. And I think if we go that direction, somebody will learn a big lesson, because I think Kenyans of goodwill and patriots Kenya, they support this healing process of BBI. Let's go and gauge. Let's know whether these people have support, whether the Hazardous notion holds water. Because if we go there and they gain more than 40% of no vote, then we'll know that William Ruto is a great person with his team, and we need also to join them to make them even better. But if they will gain less than 15%, because I think that is what they will get if you go that direction, then we'll know this Hazara motion holds no water and is just a fallacy that is not buying with the local Mwananchi.
All right,
thank you, Miriam.
Thank you so much. Professor, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga and his wiper counterpart Kalonzo Musyoka on Monday underscored the need for a national consensus to achieve an uncontested referendum on a constitution review proposals captured in Building Bridges Initiative report. Is this something that could be possible in our scenario?
Miriam, from where I sit and from the way I look things, the mood of Kenyans, we want an uncontestable referendum. Why? This is not the ordinary time that we need to compete. If it was ordinary, we can compete and then we can have the winner and the loser be it. Miriam, see where the country was in 2017. And in fact, let me tell you, I'm not abusing Kenyans, but I want to use this analogy. You know Awatho? it goes to the river. It is just the crocodile almost gets it. By the grace of God, it disappeared. It goes a few minutes, Miriam, and it comes back. Have you ever watched that?
Because the water wants some water, but yes.
It goes and then come back, and it was almost being swallowed by the crocodile. That is how the people of this country of ours are. We have got a short memory. We forget where the country has come from. There is no doubt, Miriam, that President Uhuru Kenyatta wants to live a united country, whereby that we can wake up one morning, we go for an election and compete, and you win. I give you a handshake and life goes on. They identified with his partner, the handshake partner, the Prime Minister Raila Odinga. What is bedeviling this country? I was expecting the likes of the deputy president. If the 9-point agenda was not what they moved, they could have brought another agenda 9, 10, 11, and we have a conversation. Miriam, we have had 24 months, 2 years in place. You have never brought your point on the table. You are waiting for Kidi to bring his ideas. Then you start doing them. Miriam, let me tell you. Well, Matthew 19, verse 26 says, what is impossible for man is possible with God. God, our God, is a God of prosperities. If we go towards that referendum and we succeed towards a consensus, it will be very good for this country. But from where I sit, the deputy president and this Tanga brigade, Miriam, they are already 2022. Someone who is already 22, how would you reach a consensus? So where the time has come, and the president should hear me and others, that let us organize ourselves. What the deputy president is all about is to disorganize us, and he almost succeeded. Let me tell you that he succeeded on Monday. All people were talking about that. When he got that one, he went one by one doing that, and they did not see this. So Miriam, from where I sit, let us think of a country. We have got a country to build and to prepare prosperity. If the likes of the deputy president, their interest is 2022, fine, Miriam. You cannot force people. I don't see a situation, Miriam, that 47 million Kenyans will agree that this is the direction. Even as much as we do, we bring all and incorporate what they are telling us. There are those ones who will say that we are not satisfied. We have got timelines, we have deadlines. Miriam, let them just correct the grammar, and maybe in the future, constitutions are there for posterity. Who tells you that we cannot come back again to review what we are for after 10 years? I submit, Miriam.
And Professor, we are still working on our deadline and on our timeline at the moment. Before I come to Doctor, I'd like to hear from Kidi there, Kidi Mwaga. So we know that Prime Minister Kalonzo, also President Uhuru Kenyatta, said if we can be able to achieve an uncontested referendum, then that will be good for the country, because when we go to a contested referendum, judging from what happened the other time, we were having the constitutional changes that led to ODM party being formed. The country was that set already the tone for the next election, and in this case it might really increase the divisiveness that we already have in this country. But again, we are a democratic space, and part of democracy says I should have I should have the freedom to choose. I don't know, as a legal mind, what do you think is best for the country at this point from where you stand?
Thank you, Miriam. Truth is, if the deputy president and his allies were being genuine and sincere, then this would have been a golden opportunity for the country to have an uncontested referendum. Because BBI 1 during the task force, BBI 2 during the steering committee, they would have submitted these ideas that they call better ideas that good ideas should give room for. For instance, I've heard folks say that Deputy President raised valid questions in Bomas. And my response to those people is that they are exercising what is called wisdom of the fools. I call that wisdom of the fools because if Deputy President was sincere, nothing would have stopped him from submitting even a written memorandum to the steering committee to say that this is how we want, for instance, the Senate structured. That this is how, in my estimation, I think the IBC, the appointment to the IBC should be done. But you remember, from the point go, he chose the path of bastardizing this process through and through. So to answer your question, can we have an uncontested referendum? There are two scenarios. Scenario one is him realizing that BBI is an idea whose time has come. And you know there is no idea more powerful than an idea whose time has come. So that if he comes to that realization and makes submissions right now before we draft the referendum bill or the referendum question, then we would easily have an uncontested referendum that would easily sail through with the approval of Kenya. But then when they choose to grandstand, when they choose to just thumb, then you know that the president and the prime minister would be left with no option but to continue with the good process of rebuilding the country as they started, one through handshake, two through the BBI process, and make sure that they deliver the referendum process. Why is the referendum process important? Let me say this, that when the Constitution of Kenya was promulgated in 2010, we had not experimented with it. And so that we had the best, we only hoped that it would serve us effectively as we thought it would. But having experimented with it for the last 10 years, we have seen its shortcomings. And therefore, it is only proper that we plug in those shortcomings and make sure that the document, the Constitution, can serve us better. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Doctor, end it for us.
First of all, thank you. Do we have a contestable referendum or consensus referendum? I agree with the panel, with Kidi, with Professor, and Karanji, that had this been a smooth through, a clean slate, no arguments, no doubts, no hiccups, we would just go and have it and get the 40%. But already we have somebody who has doubted even the credibility of the same findings. A person who has written his minority report. So in democracy, when a person has written a minority report and it is sung in his head, actually his head has stuck there very nicely, you are not going to change him. If a judge has written a dissenting view, judgment, it is also taken on board as a judgment, part of the judgment. Ruto has come out and dissented. He has shown you that he is not interested. The things that he told us are the things that we had already told the president, that Murkomen is saying no. Murkomen is saying, you remember the question of corruption. When they brought corruption, lifestyle audit, the first man who said he doesn't want, it will not work, was Murkomen. The second person who said it was Ruto. That thing never worked. They have already planned, they want to oppose the BBI because he says he was not seen at Arambe House shaking hand with Ogwambo. That is the only contest. You people, don't you see what is going on? This guy is like a woman. When you buy a dress for this one, she said that dress is better than mine. Yet the woman is wearing is even better. That's why I told you the story last week. My father died and told me never to marry two women. They punish you. You buy sugar 2 kilos, as you are giving out the eyes of the other one. So His Excellency's eyes, Jupiter eyes are like the other second, especially the ones who come second, are very deadly. Because they have that integrity question of why did I become number 2 and not number 1? The third one can be very tolerant. Because the husband will use the third one as an operation to go this way, to do peace talks. If the two are quarreling. Number 3, woman. In Muslim culture, Miriam, I've studied all this, I'm a researcher. That's why Muslims take 4 women. You'll always find one woman who is a peacemaker. She calls all the 3 and said, my friend, let's not spoil the life of our husband.
And our children.
And our children. So, the deputy president has told the world, the nation, he doesn't want a consensus. The earlier the government sits down, narrows down the technical team, lays deadlines, framework, roadmap. You have seen, Mariam, what I told you yesterday. I started, everybody's talking about it. Roadmaps, because they don't listen to people who read this subject. Money has colored everything, Onyari. When people see the amount of allowances they are going to get, they think their names will not be written in history. Don't bring Matanga. Don't bring Onyari. He will shine. The BBI now needs a roadmap, a timetable, a deadline, time frame. You must wrap it. As Orengo said, I agree with Orengo. 100% for the first time. I agree with James. You don't need to waste much time on this thing anymore, Miriam. If we waste much time, Ruto is going to disorganize the whole thing and there will be no referendum. Ruto has said he doesn't like this thing. Let him go on a no side. But what is making him fear is once he says to Kenyatta no, he has to leave cabinet. You get my point? Because he cannot come to the State House for a meeting with the no more. Because the State House will be discussing referendum. Yes, 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 yes. Let me also talk like Atwoli. You can't come to cabinet. You know, Uyumutu, I told you, is like a hyena and a goat. He's caught up in a place, he can eat himself, he wants to eat the dog, the goat, but he can also turn and, if the head could turn inside, he could eat himself. Have you seen, Miriam, have you got my analogy? He's stuck. If he says no, the day he's going to say no openly, That's why he's taking us on this long ride of explaining IEBC. This. He doesn't want to leave the cabinet. Don't you see the catch-22 there? Mm-hmm. As soon as he says no, the MPs that are allied to Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and the MPs that are allied to Dr. Raila Amolo Odinga, they will marshal their numbers.
Mm-hmm. All right, Doctor, we are already having guests for our next show coming up, so I think we end this quickly so that we prepare.
From Dar es Salaam.
Yes, they're online.
Let me tell you, don't go away. This is a very interesting show. Mm-hmm. I have my friend, my colleague, my Pan-African brother, the Pan-African chapter of Tanzania, a comrade in a struggle. We have struggled together in South Africa, in Zimbabwe, Dr. Severin Alute, all the way from Dar es Salaam. And so we are going to hear it direct. But before you go, trouble has sprung in Kakamega. The chief of staff of Oparanya is dead. Collapsed of a few minutes ago of COVID-19. So COVID-19 is very serious, as I've just told you.
Wow, that's some sad news there.
And another news, as you are on air, the former president of South Korea has been sentenced. The Supreme Court has enhanced the sentence to 17 years.
The lady?
Yeah.
Okay.
17 years. She has to serve 17 years, in which she has to serve 10. That's breaking news coming out now.
All right. Thank you so much.
There is more breaking news, but later because of time,
yes,
let's leave it that.
We have to go prepare for the other show. Thank you so much, Doctor. So we shall be coming back with my opinion. Elections in Africa, peace or anarchy. Thank you so much, Dr. Professor Kidi and Karanja. I hope we will be together again in the next show, as even our guests have started joining. Yes.
Kidi, please stay around and learn more from this show.
Thank you so much, sir.
Or even bring more.
I want you to stay around.
All right.
Thank you, Daktari.
All right.
Yes, Asante.
Thank you so much. So bye-bye for now. We will see you in a very short while, so please don't go too far.
Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.